Hello, 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 it's Catherine here from Ink Fingered Cat, and I've got a follow-up video. I created this panel on a previous video, and I made a card. Let me go and grab it. Here we go. So this is the card I made on the previous video, but I basically stamped them both out at the same time, watercoloured them one after the other. This one I used shimmer watercolour paints, and on this one I used Inktense pencils. So this is more wishy-washy, this is more vibrant, I think. So slightly different styles, but obviously it's exactly the same stamp. And the stamp is called Fanciful Roses background, and it's from My Favourite Things, and I bought it from Seven Hills Craft. Yeah, Seven Hills. So I ran out of time and energy when I was making that card, so we're now a couple of days later and I'm now on to doing this one, and I've had a few thoughts. So I had a little rummage through the die cuts box, and I found this birthday sentiment that's already been die cut from scraps and already layered and stacked, so it's sort of too deep, I think, on both layers. And I thought that was quite nice and went with the colour scheme. But I actually thought I'd carry on with the die cut circles. But this time, what I would do, if I could just layer it up, is I would actually die cut this panel and then inlay, and then die cut it again from some coloured cardstock, and then have it as an inlaid panel. And then that sort of shines a light on this, and we'll see how we get on. I did grab some cardstock, but there's not going to be enough there, so I'm going to throw that to one side and do something else with it. And then maybe the birthday goes over there, and either birthday wishes or happy birthday, depending on what I end up stamping. So that's my thought process. I have kept this one clean. The last one, here you can see I did lots of splatter. For the moment, I'm keeping this clean, but that might end up changing. You never know. I did contemplate the idea of adding some text print in there or something, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to sit you into fast forward and pop you a voiceover, because I don't want this to take too long, and I tend to take a lot longer if I'm talking through the process whilst I'm crafting. I also waffle a lot. So see you on the other side. Okay, so first of all, took it over to the die cut machine, die cut that circle out. Then I had a rummage around trying to work out what the heck was the colour I was going to use. I ended up with orange. Just that's what jumped out of the box first, was some orange, and so that's what I went with. So this is probably the dullest of the video because a lot of it's happening off screen, but I'm basically die cutting to one side a load of circles. At first I did it as a frame, and then I realised I didn't need a frame. I needed the actual circle. Because I decided rather than it being inlaid that I would actually have it so that it was raised a little bit. So yeah, originally I was inlaying, and then I spent ages trying to faff around trying to layer that up, and I realised it didn't really matter what order it was in at this point. It's only when I go and put it back into the frame that is this panel that it would matter whether it was lined up or not. So trimmed it down to 5.5 by 5.5, and then glued it onto the panel. And then I stacked two of the circles that had got the middle bit on. Now this is where I do need to layer up the thing to try and do it, but what I forgot to do was put glue on the back first. So I ended up just doing it by eye anyway, and then just checking it was right, and it was, and that would be fine. And then I thought, oh, I could actually use that inside bit inside the card. So that's why I've done that with that other circle. So now I'm umming and ahhing as to what to do and how to finish off the sentiment, and I decide to use the beautiful flower stamp set that was just to the side of the desk, and just stamped the happy birthday twice so that I could trim one of the happies off to be able to use that as part of this sentiment, and then I knew I'd use the other one inside of the card. And at this point I was going to do that strip of cardstock that I'd found, but I realised it wasn't the right colour. It was, I think it was Merry Merlot, and really it needed to be cherry cobbler. So here I am, I found a scrap of cherry cobbler and I'm doing this. Now, how to finish it, I really wasn't sure what to do. I ummed and ahed about putting the frame on the top and then decided not to, so I went trailing through the ribbons box, found this scrap of cherry cobbler, very wide striped ribbon, and decided, right, I'm going to stick that on. Lots of sellotape on the back because I knew it needed to be quite strong to hold that ribbon and keep it flat. So at this point I'm sort of sticking down the ribbon on the front of the card as well so that it's straight. I add some glue as well just so I've got a bit of wriggle room if I need it, and then I'm sticking my acrylic blocks on to keep it secure. Okay, glued down my sentiments. They don't stick very well, so I do end up having to re-glue that happy again. And then I decided that I want to use the card candy, so tipped some out onto some scrap paper, found some red card candy, and I'm just deciding where to stick them, and then go ahead and glue all of these down. And that's pretty much the outside finished. I mean, there's a bit of faffing that I do with that sentiment, but now it's time to do the inside. So I took that other happy birthday that I had stamped and I trimmed that down, and then deciding where I'm going to put my circle. Again, use the tape but also a bit of glue, and stuck that down, and then found one more red card candy just to sit on the inside, and decided, apart from sticking that happy down again because it just really wasn't sticking properly at the front, so there was a lot of faffing and a lot of just holding on to it to try and get it in place. And that is my card done. So I'm happy with this. I preferred the other one, I must admit, but I really like it as a bold and slightly different kind of take on that background. I can't believe I actually ended up with almost the same layout for both of them, which is quite funny. That wasn't the intention when I started, but there you go. I hope you enjoyed. Please do give a thumbs up, comment below. Do you like how I made this one? Or do you prefer the other one too? Oh, here's a picture of both of them. And then please do subscribe to see more videos. But until next time, goodbye.